23 years old, native of Dallas, Texas. And he'll square off against the ever-dangerous Michael Taylor from the Harrisburg Senators. If you've been listening to the Altoona Curve Radio Network the past few days when the team was in Harrisburg, you might remember that Taylor missed the last few games because he was selected to the Futures game. Watches a first pitch miss outside. It's a 1-ball, no-strike count. Scoreless game, bottom of the first. The pitch is lifted out up the first base side. This one will go foul, though, over towards the terrace level, where a fan tries to make the grab but couldn't come up with anything, and the count is 1-1.
And Taylor's a guy, you look over his stat line, there's almost nothing up there that doesn't impress you as a fan or as a scout. He can do it all, really. 27 steals to go along with 18 home runs, 54 driven in, and he's hit leadoff most of the year for Harrisburg, so that's really a lot of RBIs, especially when sometimes you have that pitcher hitting in front of you in that situation.
2-1 pitch misses outside. It's now a 3-ball, 1-strike count. Yeah, he's just put together just monstrous numbers this season. When you look through it, Taylor, .323 batting average. He takes a 5-pitch walk to start off this game from Milner. Leadoff man is on, and now Francisco Lindor will come up to the plate. But Taylor, 18 home runs, 54 driven in. He's got a .404 on-base percentage, which is among the league leaders. He's just been able to do it all. Francisco Lindor will now come up to the plate. From the Akron Rubber Ducks, he is the top prospect in the Cleveland Indians organization. And Nate, a lot of people expect that this guy will be up in the majors as soon as next season. He'll swing at the first pitch and go right through it. And the count is 0-1 to Lindor entering this game. Well, finishing his first half. None of these statistics from this game will count towards the regular season, but Lindor, a .284 batting average with 6 home runs and 46 driven in. Here's the throw over to first, and Taylor's out too far off the bag. Called out according to our home plate first base umpire, Chris Tipton. So picking him off is Blake Swihart, who's just been able to pick just about everybody off this season. So there's one out, and Lindor has the count at 0-2 against him. Your home plate umpire, Billy Cunha. Second base umpire, Robert Moreno. Here's a bouncing ball, tap back to Coyle at second. He'll throw across his body, and just like that, a walk, pickoff, and now a 4-3 ground out. There's quickly 2 away. Third base umpire is Ryan Clark, as we also need to take a look at the Eastern Division defense. You heard Blake Swihart behind the plate. Kenny Vargas is at first. Portland's Sean Coyle is at second. Derrick Gibson, also from the Sea Dogs, is at short. A Boston Red Sox middle infield for the Eastern Division. Carlos Alonso from the Reading Titans is at the hot corner. And in the outfield from left to right is Trenton's Ben Gamble, Binghamton's Kyle Johnson, and then it is New Britain's Reynaldo Rodriguez out in right field. First pitch on the way to Stephen Moya is a strike. Lefty this season has put together a fine campaign. Milner's next pitch misses down and away. Off-speed pitch, it's 1-1. Moya this year, when you look through his numbers, a .264 batting average, but he currently leads the Eastern League with 22 home runs. Called strike, it's now at 1-2. 75 RBIs is also among the league leaders. He's just been absolutely incredible for the Erie Seawolves. 1-2. Fouled back over towards the Eastern Division dugout. Count will stay the same at 1 ball and 2 strikes.
It's a shame we didn't get to see Moya yesterday in the hitting challenge, as he's a guy has some of the best power in this league, but we did get to see him in the last series before the break here. He had a couple home runs against the Curve.
1-2 pitch misses outside, and the count is 2 balls, 2 strikes. Yeah, I remember Erie used a big first inning against the Curve one of the days, and Moya provided the big blast in that inning. A 3-run bomb hit out towards right center field. He just pulled it. 2-2, though. He tried to go and pull that one, but it was a changeup down and away, and he'll strike out swinging to end the bottom half of the first inning. A walk, pickoff, ground out, and a strikeout, and that is the end of 1 full inning here at People's Natural Gas Field. It's the East 0 and the West 0 on the Altoona Curve Baseball Network. going into the bottom of the third inning. You only played 3 innings. Each guy got 10 outs, and that's how that all worked. The 0-2, down and inside, actually nearly hit Vargas, who just kind of shuffles his body out of the way of it. It's a 1-ball, 2-strike count. However, it was Altuna's own Willie Garcia proved the heroics. He just kept hitting home run after long ball after double. Put some ghost man on base and then just clobbered. 1-2, swung over top of a good changeup by Snodgrass. Second K in this ball game for the West. Second by Richmond pitching. 1 from Block, and now 1 from Snodgrass. There's 2 away.
A good pitch again from Snodgrass. He's a guy I was surprised to see back in the league this year. After last year, he was with Richmond the whole season, went 12-4, 25 starts. He had a .370 ERA and was really one of the better pitchers in the league for most of the season. But he's back. It looks like they're trying to stretch him out a little bit more, and he has issued maybe a handful more walks, but other than that, numbers pretty much the same across the board in his second year here.
Rockettes will send Reynaldo Rodriguez to the plate. He swings at the first pitch from Snodgrass and fouls it up the third base side. It's a no-ball, 1-strike count. Rodriguez this season in 90 games with the Rockettes, batting .313 with 14 home runs and 45 driven in. He's bounced through the league with several different teams, but now he's really found his calling with the Rockettes. Pitch here misses inside. It's a 1-ball, 1-strike count as some activity is underway in both teams' bullpen. Remember, this is the All-Star game. It's not an official game, so the organizations don't want their guys to go all too deep in games. The 1-1 is lifted weakly out towards right field, but it drops in front of Moya, and that is the first hit in this ball game for either team, going to New Britain's Reynaldo Rodriguez.
And I'm kind of curious to see how some of these starting pitchers perform in this game, because they're coming in, they only have to throw 1 inning. It's not like in a normal start where you might see their velocity in the low 90s or so. That they can amp it up a little more because they know they're only going to throw 15, 20 pitches, and then they're going to come out of the game. So we'll have to see if there's a little extra behind the fastball from some of these guys today.
2 outs, 1 on. Binghamton's Kyle Johnson comes to the plate and watches a first pitch out of the zone. It's a 1-ball, no-strike count. Currently warming up for the Western Division up the first base side. The home team is Sean Armstrong from the Akron Rubber Ducks, and warming up on the eastern side of things is down the third baseline Taylor Rogers from the New Britain Rockettes. So we'll see Rogers in the bottom half of this inning. Next pitch from Snodgrass is downstairs. It's a 2-ball, no-strike count. 2 outs, a scoreless ball game. Here's the pitch. Swung over top of a healthy cut by Johnson, and the count goes to 2-1. Johnson, a member of the Binghamton Mets, batting .281 this year, 4 home runs and 36 driven in. He's been one of the primary leadoff guys for the B-Mets this season. Binghamton, who has put together just an incredible campaign. 2-1 is a broken bat flare out towards center field, but it drops in front of Taylor, and trying to go first to third on the play is Rodriguez. The throw is in time. Michael Taylor collects an outfield assist, and Rodriguez, it goes out on an 8-5 putout. Johnson, unfortunately, cannot continue the inning for any longer. We're scoreless, still going into the bottom of the second inning on the Altoona Curve Baseball Network. 1 ball, 1 strike. The pitch is hit towards second base. Coyle will flip it over to his teammate Gibson. The throw over to first is low, but Vargas, with a nice backhanded grab, is able to complete the 4-6-3 double play just like that. 2 outs, nobody on, and Altoona's own Elias Diaz will come up to the plate. Diaz gets a warm ovation from the hometown crowd. The Curve hosting the Eastern League All-Star Clash. It's the first time that the All-Star game has been played here since 2006. A good crowd on hand, too, for the game. Some kids playing out in the kids zone out in right field. A lot of people sitting in the Toyota Diamond Club seating, the terrace level, grandstand, all over the place. And, well, the personality of People's Natural Gas Field, the Skyliner, the roller coaster out in right field, is going underway. First pitch is a ball. Next pitch is fouled up the first base side. It's a 1 ball, 1 strike count to the Curve catcher, who currently ranks atop the Eastern League in hitting among active catchers. Diaz this season batting .307 in 72 games, 5 home runs and 36 driven in. Pitch here, flare up the first base side and over towards the grounds area between the Toyota Diamond Club and the Ollie's cheap seats. Count is 1-2. On just a picture-perfect night for baseball in Altoona. Clear skies. Lights are on at the ballpark right now. No humidity, comfortable temperatures. The 1-2 is in there for a called strike 3. Rogers gets Diaz looking on a breaking pitch to end the bottom of the second inning. Still scoreless. Let's head into the top of the third at People's Natural Gas Field on the Altoona Curve Baseball Network. Starting things off will be Reading's Carlos Alonso. Alonso this season, .283 batting average with the Fightins, 8 home runs and 27 driven in, and they're wearing their baseball town uniforms. First pitch from the right-hander is too far downstairs. It's a 1 ball, no strike count. This is the final event of the 2-day extravaganza in Curve, PA. Yesterday it was the Ghostman Games and Hitting Challenge. The Wounded Warrior amputee softball team took on the team of Curve alumni. Next pitch from Armstrong is a called strike. It's 1-1. Yesterday, of course, Willie Garcia providing the big heroics during the Ghostman Games. And also, if you happen to catch the Wounded Warrior amputee softball team, you saw that a great group of veterans competed against the Curve alumni. And one of the Curve alumni is Miles Durham, who is also the player coach for the Altoona Curve. Alonso watches a pitch miss down and away. It's a 2 ball, 1 strike count against Reading's right-hander. He's also the starting third baseman for the Eastern League All-Stars. 2 balls, 1 strike. Here's the pitch. Swung on and fouled back. It's a 2 ball, 2 strike count. And Miles in yesterday's game, in a slow pitch softball game, hit probably the hardest softball I've ever seen hit. You see a lot of times in the big league softball games, they usually like to do the celebrity ones. The guys will hit it pretty far, but not the way that Miles clocked this one. It hit all the way to the top of the Reliance Bank Hill out and left. 2-2. Inside for ball 3. On a slow pitch softball, and it wasn't that he was using a baseball bat either. He was using a softball bat. He just absolutely annihilated that ball. Miles, fans might remember in Altoona Curve history, he finished the longest game ever in franchise history with a walk-off home run. Here's a little blooper up the first base side, but Lindor will track it down, heading into shallow right field for the first out of the top half of the third inning. Now Derrick Gibson from the Portland Sea Dogs will come up. Some activity going down the third base side from the Eastern Division All-Stars. As a Binghamton reliever, and I believe that would be John Velasquez. So he'll be the next guy coming in for the Eastern League All-Stars. That's in the bottom half of this inning. First pitch on the way to Derrick Gibson is a called strike at the knees. It's 0-1. And now, right on cue, the West will get a man loose in their bullpen. Here's a ball that sneaks away from home plate. Time gets called. Scoreless ball game, top of the third at People's Natural Gas Field. Gibson this season doing good things with the Sea Dogs. A .314 batting average in 69 games. He's also got a pair of home runs under his belt. Here's a pitch that misses down and away. It's a 1-ball, 1-strike count. Gibson, originally drafted in the second round by the Red Sox. He had slowly progressed through Boston's organization before he really had his breakout season this year. Batted .309 his first pro year, but that was in the GCL. 1-1, misses down and away. It's a 2-ball, 1-strike count. Last year with Portland, hit .250 and had 22 runs driven in 88 games. Already this year, he's matched his home run total and surpassed his RBI total. 2 years ago, he joined the Eastern League for the first time and played in 115 games with the Sea Dogs, and during that time, he batted .225. 2-1 pitch, and misses downstairs. 3 balls and 1 strike goes the count. So this year, he's putting together some pretty good things. From Seaford High School, the 3-1 pitch, lifted high and deep to left field. Garcia will look back, and this one is gone. A solo home run for Derrick Gibson. Again, he had just 2 during the regular season. Now he gets a solo blast here in the top of the third, and it's a 1-0 lead for the Eastern Division All-Stars. Out comes Altoona in center field. He's going to be dancing for both teams. Fireworks also going off over in left field. Gibson with a shot off the bat of Sean Armstrong. Armstrong only gave up 3 home runs over 38 2/3 innings this season with Akron. So that's the first run of this game and just the 4th overall hit. Now we go back to the top of the lineup card where Sean Coyle will come up to the plate. He is so far today 0 for 1. He'll watch a first pitch fastball that runs upstairs. Count is at 1 ball and no strikes. Armstrong last appeared for the Akron Rubber Ducks on July 14th, just 2 days ago to end the first half of their season. Here's the ball that comes back our way, but it falls just to the right. 1 ball and 1 strike goes the count. Some fans going after the ball. 1-0 lead for the East. Armstrong, who was originally selected in the 2008 MLB draft by the Houston Astros out of West Craven High School in North Carolina, but he opted not to sign with them. Went off to college and upped his draft stock, went to East Carolina. Drafted in the 18th round by the Cleveland Indians. 1 ball, 1 strike. Pitch misses outside, 2-1. Now Armstrong comes to a set, kicks and tosses. Ball is scooted out towards right field, and this will bring Moya in, but it falls well in front of him. It's a little bloop base hit for Sean Coyle. He's now 1 for 2 today.
Left fielder, Ben Gamble.
15 pitches so far in this inning for Armstrong. For the most part, the Western divisions have their pitching crew all set up. The only really audible, so to say, would be Joe Colon, also a member of the Rubber Ducks, who would come in if need be. Ben Gamble up to the plate. He's 0 for 1 today. Watches a pitch miss down and inside. It's a 1 ball, no strike count. Still 1 out in the inning. Now Elias Diaz will come on out to the mound. Have a quick word with the pitcher. Armstrong, who entered this season ranked as one of the top prospects in the Cleveland Indians system by Baseball America. 29th best. This season he's already established a career high in saves with 11. His previous career high was just 3. He was absolutely incredible during April and had an .096 earned run average. After the chat with Elias, throws a strike. It's a 1 ball, 1 strike count to Gamble. Trenton's outfielders playing left today for the Eastern Division All-Stars. Coyle with a small lead over at first. Does not look like he's going to be running. The 1-1. He does not run. It misses outside for ball 2. Portland Sea Dogs just been one of the best teams all year. They've been running away in the Eastern Division. Had a 15-8 record in April. Went 23-10 during May, and they just continue to go. Coyle runs. Throw down to second is well late. Diaz, who tried to throw him out from his knees. He's done that a couple times this season for Altoona. But with the jump that Coyle got from first, he had absolutely no chance. So So Coyle swipes a bag. There is some bullpen activity going on for the Western Division. It looks like it's Tim Berry, southpaw from the Bowie Bay Sox. 3 balls, 1 strike, the pitch. Tapper foul over towards Altuna's dugout. Ricochets off the facade, and the ball boy comes out, picks it up. We'll just take it back into the dugout. 3 balls, 2 strikes. Looks like Velasquez has finished his warm-up tosses for Binghamton. We'll see him in the bottom half of the third. 3 balls, 2 strikes, the toss. There's a ground ball hit towards second. Lindor fielded on 2 hops. Is delayed on his throw, but it was still well in time to beat the left fielder Gamble for the second out. Coyle goes over to third on the play.
Catcher, Blake Swihart.
Now Blake Swihart will come up to the plate. Swihart put a charge into a ball back in the first inning, but ultimately flew out to Michael Taylor over by the warning track in the deepest part of the ballpark. Here at People's Natural Gas Field, if you've never been here before, 325 down the left field and right field lines, which isn't really all too bad, but it's when you get into the canyons in left center and right center that become the big bugaboo. 1-0 lead, the first pitch. Down and inside to Swihart. It's a 1 ball, no strike count. It's 405 to dead center field. In right center, it's 375, and one of the deepest parts out in left center is also 385. There's a billboard right underneath the scoreboard in left center field. The 1-0 is a called strike on the outer blank. It's 1-1. It's our UniFirst sign out there. That's really the deepest part of the ballpark, especially with the switch hitting Swihart. If you were to hit that ball that way, you have to go the opposite field to just an incredible length. 1-1. Punch foul up the third base side. Goes over towards the grandstand seating area. Fan brought his glove out to the game and made a line drive catch with it. Got a roar of applause from the crowd, rightfully so. 1 ball, 2 strikes. Armstrong trying to get out of the inning. Sean Coyle threatening over at third, just 90 feet away from scoring the second run. 1-2, in there for a called strike 3. Got him on the breaking pitch, but the East takes the first lead of this game. A solo home run by Portland's Derrick Gibson, his third of the 2014 campaign. Unfortunately, won't count for him in the regular season, but it did put the East on top. It's 1-0 as we head into the bottom of the third. Boo Haggerty as Willie Garcia fouls one back against the screen. It's now 0-2 from the UPMC Health Plan, a key sponsor for the Eastern League All-Star Stop. And we right before we went on air, literally maybe we even bled it onto actually on air, we were talking about how you got the nickname Boo. You got to explain that.
I'll tell you what, it's a simple story. I'm the youngest of 5 boys, born 6 years apart, and I got beat up all the time. And they called me Boo-hoo, and the who dropped and the boo stuck, and that's as simple as it is. I'm 52 years old, and everyone calls me Boo.
1 ball, 2 strikes. Hansen with the lead at second. Ground ball hit towards short, fielded by Derrick Gibson on a couple hops. The throw over to first is in time to get Garcia. Ground out goes 6-3, but Hansen advances to third on the ground out. Yeah, my nickname is Bags over on the air, and
Which makes sense.
right, Baggerman, Bags. You get used to it. I'm sure growing up, did a lot of like your friends at school call you by that name? I'm sure.
My gosh! I mean, from the time I was 8 years old, I don't. My God-given name is Charles, and I don't think anyone's called me Charles, since I was 8.
Michael Taylor will come up to the plate. A Harrisburg Senator will launch a fastball. First pitch run upstairs for a ball. It's 1-0. Did that kind of name bother you early on?
No, I got used to it quickly. When you're youngest of 5 boys and you're getting beat up, you just kind of go with the punches. You just got to roll with it.
1-0 pitch to Taylor, misses outside. Taylor walked in his first at-bat and was later picked off by the catcher Blake Swihart for the first out in the bottom of the first inning. Right now we're in the bottom of the third, 1-0 lead for the East. Here's the pitch here from Velasquez. It misses downstairs. It's a 3-ball, no strike count. You mentioned how UPMC Health Plan earlier has been a key part of working with the Altoona Curve for the past decade now.
Right.
What is it about the connection between our two companies? Here's a ground ball hit towards short field and on a backhand by Gibson. And low throw, Vargas can't handle it, though, and it brings home the first run in this game for the Western Division. Hansen, the Altoona Curve, scores from third on the play.
I have to thank those guys. I wanted to answer that question, but at the end, ended, I'm out of here. So that worked out great.
Exactly.
You know what? It's about the community. I think the Curve is so community-focused and community-based and making sure that they bring, the players and the whole franchise out into the community of Altoona. We've done the same thing, and it's very important to us. The straight A program, allowing kids who get straight A's to come, on the house and go to the game, and the season ticket holders who can give unused tickets to people in the community who can't afford to come, and we want to support that. And it's just about community. It's just one word, and it's as simple as it gets.
They credit that as an RBI single for Michael Taylor, who now breaks for the first pitch. It's a strike. The throw down to second almost sails into center field, but Sean Coyle's there to save the day on a backhand. Taylor gets a stolen base. You mentioned how you guys do the straight A program, so I'm going to put you on the spot a little bit. Were you a straight A student when you were in school?
I mean, my name was Boo. What do you think? So,
well,
one of the reasons I was crying, I was coming home because I didn't get good enough grades.
Okay.
No, I had my share of A's, but I had my share of B's and C's too. So.
0-1 pitch is a ground ball, softly hit up the first base side, but foul by Lindor.
What about you, Bags? How was it?
In elementary school, I was fortunate.
There you go.
I had good teachers.
Perfect.
College, that's a different story.
That's a different story.
No balls and 1 strike to Lindor. He'll swing over top of the 0-2 pitch, He'll go down on strikes before.
First one into O'Brien. Misses inside for a ball. O'Brien's 0 for 1. Flat out to the center fielder, Michael Taylor, in his first at-bat. Hits from the right side against the lefty, Barry. Swings through a changeup, and it goes even now, 1-1. As action in the bullpen, a lefty is up for the East. So nobody's gone more than an inning on the mound. Wouldn't expect that to change. 1-1 is inside for ball 2 to O'Brien. It goes to 2-1. 19 homers, 44 RBIs for the Trenton Thunder player, O'Brien. This one misses low, and it goes to 3-1. 237 batting average. Showed off that power last night in the Ghost Man games. Hitting challenge. Hit several up on the hill for what was a large crowd of kids chasing the baseballs, trying to go home with a souvenir. 3-1 here is popped up. Shallow center field. Hansen is out. Taylor is coming in. And it will be Taylor who calls off Alan Hansen and makes the play right in front of that A logo, mowed into center field for the first out. So twice now, O'Brien has flied out to center. Bring Vargas to the plate. 0 for 1, struck out looking in his first plate appearance. .291, 15 homers, 58 RBIs. It's in action for the New Britain Rockcats. Last night also participated in the hitting challenge as he turned around for his last couple outs and hit from the left side. He hits from the right side here and takes a first pitch inside. It's 1-0 as Barry is behind in the count. Pitch in here, bounced over to first base. Christian Walker's up with it, and he waves off his teammate Barry, takes it himself. And 3 unassisted. Vargas is retired for the second time. Ronaldo Rodriguez singled back in the second inning. He had what was the first hit of this one. We are tied at 1 between the East and West. 4 hits on the board for the East to just 2 for the West. 1 error in the field by the East. The West so far perfect defensively. As Rodriguez stands in. First one from Barry is cued foul over towards first base. And a good pick down there by a member of the Thunder coaching staff. Another good crowd on hand tonight as the kids appear to be throwing around one of those kickballs out on the hill. This pitch is driven into shallow left. Garcia a couple steps in, and he will make the catch for the final out. It's a 1-2-3 inning for Tim Barry, and we're tied at 1 as we head to the home half of the 4th inning here on the Curve Radio Network. Beautiful night at People's Natural Gas Field. 1-1 tie between the East and the West as we enter the home half of inning number 4. The West will send 3, 4, and 5 to the plate. Stephen Moya, Christian Walker, and Mario Lisone. Nate Bowen, Mike Baggerman with you, and another new pitcher to tell you about as Robbie Scott of the Portland Sea Dogs takes the mound as he is also a left-hander, 6'3", 220-pounder. Native of Miami, Florida. Went to Florida State, 6-2 with a 1.93 earned run average in 21 games for the Sea Dogs. Did make 1 start, has earned 1 save, but primarily the lefty has worked in relief. First one to Moya, lefty-lefty matchup here. Moya goes after a pitch that might have been out of the strike zone, and it's 0-1. It's his first season in Double-A. Spent last year with Salem in the Carolina League, did Scott. As he sets from the third base side of the rubber. Nearly an identical pitch and another swing and a miss from Moya. And it's quickly 0-2. Moya went down swinging in his first trip to the plate. That at bat against Hobie Milner back in the first inning. Moya asked for time. A non-drafted free agent pickup was Scott. Signed near the end of the 2011 season. This looked like a good pickup so far. The 0-2 swung on and missed, and down goes Moya. 85 that time on the stadium radar gun from the lefty. And Christian Walker will come to the plate.
First baseman, Christian Walker.
Walker, one of the 2 hits for the West, as he singled to lead off the second inning. Was cut down as part of a double play ball, though. As he will hit from the right side. Curve fans will get an extended look at Walker, so he'll be in town for the next few days with the Bowie Bay Sox. This pitch misses outside for a ball. Bowie in town after the All-Star game through Sunday. Right-handed hitter here against the lefty Scott. He sets and comes home. And this is bounced off the third base bag and into left field. As Gamel gives chase, he's up with it. He fires it back in. A long single for Walker. As good job in the field to get that one in. And Walker now 2 for 2. See if Mario Lisone can move him up this time, though. Took a good bounce. Looked like it had a chance to roll foul right off the base and by a diving Carlos Alonso. And into left field. Third hit of the day for the West. As we remain tied at 1 in the home half of the 4th. Lisone from the right side against the lefty Scott. Checks the runner. He comes home. in there for a called strike. Walker, not a big base stealing threat. He's tried just 3 times in the regular season, been successful twice. Is on to a short lead at first, the 0-1. Misses low for a ball. Lee Sones at 278, 12 homers, 56 driven in for the Richmond Flying Squirrels. On base percentage, though, up nearly 370 for the right-handed hitter. So he's worked 39 walks. 1-1, misses low for a ball. Got the chance to see Mario as a member of the Royals organization when he was in Northwest Arkansas back in 2012. Very patient hitter at the plate. He's always had good power. Awaits now the 2-1 from Robbie Scott. Checks the runner and comes home. This one's popped up high on the infield. Alonso's given chase, and he's into foul ground, and he makes the catch right in front of the UPMC Health Plan Eastern League All-Star Stop logo, and retires Lee Sohn for the second out. Elias Diaz to the plate. One of 3 curve players in the starting lineup. See if he can make his mark on this game with a runner at first base and 2 away. We are tied at 1, home half of the 4th inning. The West at the plate. Diaz, very good average this year for the curve. 307, 5 homers, 36 RBIs. 13 doubles as well. Takes the first pitch high for ball 1. Scott's been 85 to 87 with the fastball here in his first inning of work. The 4th pitcher used by the East. Brings this one in. It's fouled back, coming up off to our right and actually off the rail here in the grandstand. And it kicks back down. Some of the fans not happy about it off to our right. A couple foul balls have gone into that section.
Rowdy bunch.
Earlier they were yelling at a fan in a Mets jersey who would not give the ball away to any of them. 1-1 the count to Diaz. Swing and a miss here. Changed up on him down to 75, and it's now 1-2 on the curve backstop. It's action continuing in both bullpens. Remember, the curve is up for the West. Looks like Ryan Beckman. 1-2 coming home. Swing and a miss. Ball bounces away from Swire. He fires down to Vargas. And a strikeout, 2-3 on the putout. So a single in the inning for the West. They leave 1 man on base. We're tied at 1 as we head to the top of the 5th inning here in the All-Star game on the Curve Radio Network. Walked 17 and struck out 24. Beckman's coming off his best month of the year in June, 1.35 ERA in that month. In July, he's already 2-0 ERA of 3. He'll see the bottom third of the lineup for the East squad. Kyle Johnson, Carlos Alonso, and Derrick Gibson are coming to the plate. Righty-righty matchup as Johnson leads things off. Infield straightaway, first one from Beckman. The side armor misses upstairs at 85 miles an hour, and he's down in the count, 1-0. Johnson, 284, 4 homers, 36 RBIs. Saw him leading off primarily for the B-Mets. It's 7th for Tony Franklin in the Eastern All-Star lineup. Swings through a fastball over the inside quarter, and it's now 1-1. Defensive alignment still the same for the West, so they've yet to make any changes in the field. They have sent a new pitcher to the mound, though, in every inning. 1-1 from Beckman, misses outside, and it goes to 2-1. So we've seen a couple members of the Flying Squirrels pitching staff that started us off. Blatch and Snodgrass. We also saw Sean Armstrong and Tim Berry. This one's in there for a called strike, and it's now 2-2 to Kyle Johnson. So we are tied at 1. Beckman, if the West can get through this inning, put up a 0, and score a run in the home half, would be in line for the win. 2-2 is hit in the air. Right center field, that's going to get down for a base hit. Moya's over. He will gather it in and flip it back into Francisco Lindor, who's at second base for this one. And it's a hit for Johnson. He's 2 for 2 with a pair of singles. He was stranded at first last time he reached in the second inning. It's Carlos Alonso of the Reading Fightins to the plate. He's at third base. He's 0 for 1. Popped up to the second baseman, Francisco Lindor, in his first trip. 283 average on the regular season, 8 homers, 27 driven in for Alonso. As he awaits the first offering from Beckman. Ripped over the head and off the glove of the third baseman, Duffy, and Willie Garcia will gather it in left field. Back-to-back singles to start the inning here for the East. As they now have runners on first and second with nobody out, and the man that's done the damage for the East so far, Derrick Gibson of the Portland Sea Dogs, coming to the plate. Gibson homered in his last trip in the third. It was a solo shot. He's responsible for the only run so far. Beckman checks both runners, and here's the pitch. Misses outside. So he went with a slider, and it's 1-0. In an all-star game, one of the least likely players to hit a home run is Gibson. As he came in with just 2 for the season, as this pitch is tapped foul at home plate. Rolls over towards the East dugout. New baseball for Beckman as we're even up 1-1. It's the top of the 5th inning. East threatening with runners at first and second. Kyle Johnson of the B-Mets at second. Carlos Alonso of the Reading Fightins, the runner at first. Beckman's pitch misses low, and it's 2-1. Johnson, pretty good speed. Alonso, I'd say good speed for a third baseman. They're both away. 2-1 to Derrick Gibson of the Sea Dogs. Beckman's pitch in there for a called strike. Fastball just caught the top part of the strike zone. And we're even up at 2-2. Alonso, a 32nd round pick in 2010. Over at first. There's a couple guys in this game picked late, or even a couple undrafted guys making the All-Star game this year. This is tapped foul. So he had Gibson out in front. And it remains 2-2. As Beckman, a long look in, has a friendly face looking back at him, and Elias Diaz behind the plate. 2 are teammates in the regular season here for Altoona. 2-2 is tapped foul, and we'll do it again. Another good at-bat by Gibson. So he threw his hat into the early MVP voting with that homer in his first trip. Righty-righty matchup, the 2-2 coming from Beckman. Again, fouled off the shin guards of Diaz, this time over towards the west dugout. Gibson will see another. He was a second-round pick in 2008. Just 24 years of age in the Red Sox organization. Listed at 6'1", 170 pounds. 2-2 pitch. Runners going, swing and a miss, throw down to second base, and Alonso is in. It's a double steal and a strikeout on the play. So Beckman gets the first out. And now runners at second and third with 1 out as the lineup card flips over. Johnson had 8 steals in the regular season, Alonso 7. But manager Tony Franklin elects to have them both go. And now Sean Coyle with a chance to untie this one. The East threatening in a 1-1 game in the top of the 5th. Coyle's 1 for 2 with a single. Beckman's first misses downstairs. 4-1. Coyle also bounced out to the pitcher in the first. His single came in the third inning. 1-0 from Beckman. Swing and a miss. Got him out in front. Just 74 that time on the radar gun.
Yeah, it took so much off of it. Coyle looked like he had already gone through his entire swing by that time that ball got to Diaz.
As Ryan tries to work out of trouble. 1-1 pitch. Upstairs for a ball.
Gotta imagine there's a little bit of an added chemistry also because you got the pitcher Ryan Beckman going with the catcher Elias Diaz, two guys who currently play for the Altoona Curve.
2-1 from Beckman. In there for a call and strike. Again, went with the off-speed stuff. And it goes to 2-2. So Ryan maybe a little amped up, pitching in front of the hometown fans. Had a little trouble first couple batters in locating the fastball, but the breaking stuff has really helped him out here. And there it is again, off-speed pitch and a swing and a miss from Coyle. And back-to-back strikeouts of two Sea Dogs for Beckman. It's going to bring up Ben Gamble, who's 0 for 2. He sees his third plate appearance. Struck out swinging in the first inning, bounced out to Francisco Lindor at second base in the third. Tied at 1, top half of the fifth. Runner at third, Kyle Johnson of the Binghamton Mets. Runner at second, Carlos Alonso of the Reading Titans. Swing a drive here by Gamble. Going back on it is Taylor, and he's able to run it down about 3 steps in front of the warning track. And a nice defensive play by Michael Taylor that gets Ryan Beckman out of a jam. So 2 singles in the inning. 2 men left on base. We remain tied at 1 as we head to the home half of the 5th inning here on the Curve Radio Network. And if he were to get a strikeout, same deal. Tickets would be good for a free Big Mac tomorrow, as this one is fouled back. Coming in sharply, section 306 down to our left, and it's 2-2 now on Alan Hansen. Hansen responsible for scoring the only run for the West so far. It came back in the third inning. In fact, both runs in this game came in the third. As Antolin's pitch misses upstairs for a ball. Full count now on Hansen. Antolin, an 11th round pick back in 2008 by the Toronto Blue Jays. Works from the first base side of the rubber. And the payoff pitch for Hansen is hit high in the air. Third base side, Alonso gives it a look. And it will land about 5 rows up in the Toyota Diamond Club. Good at bat again from Hansen. So lots of guys working the count as the game has gone on. Early on, saw some early swings. But now they're settling in. Playing almost like a regular season game. Payoff pitch misses low for a ball, and Hansen is on base yet again. Second time he's been on. And Matt Duffy of the Richmond Flying Squirrels comes to the plate to see if Carlos Garcia chooses to put anything on. So Tony Franklin and the East squad execute a double steal in the last half inning. As Duffy comes to the plate. 0 for 1, bounced out to the pitcher in his only trip in the third inning. Hansen away from first. Nothing on pitch number 1, which misses low for a ball. Duffy 337, 3 homers, 54 driven in. On base percentage over 400 this season. Second pitch is ripped down the right field line, and a fan making a great catch over the rail. Out there in the alley's cheap seats, reached over right in front of the tarp, and just a good-looking pick.
Yeah,
1-1 now the count.
Yeah, she just reached right over the edge of it, brought her glove to the ballpark. She's also got one of those Andrew McCutcheon t-shirt giveaways that we had earlier this season.
1-1 is ripped foul again this time, down the first base side. It's one of the West pitchers will jog down, working as a shield down in the bullpen. As the bullpens are in play here at People's Natural Gas Field. 1-2 the count on Matt Duffy. Runner at first base is Alan Hansen. We have got a tie game here in the All-Star game, home half of the fifth. As it's popped up down the right field line, it's going to be a long run for Rodriguez. He climbs the mound in the West bullpen, but watches it land about 2 feet out of his reach on the other side of the fence. They'll do it again, 1-2, as Antolin's going to wait for Rodriguez to return back to his regular spot in right field. The outfield is playing Duffy to go the other way. As Johnson in center is out in right center, as here's a swing and a miss. And that strikeout of Matt Duffy means that fans' tickets from today's game are good for a free Big Mac at participating McDonald's starting tomorrow at noon. Duffy is the first out of the inning. Alan Hansen remains at first. And teammate with the Altoona curve, Willie Garcia comes to the plate. Righty-righty matchup for Garcia. He grounded out to short in his first trip. Antolin's first offering is in there for a called strike. Good-looking pitch from the Blue Jays prospect. See what he brings. 0-1 to Garcia. Aggressive hack that time from Willie, unable to catch up to it, and it's 0-2.
So after the K guy gets out, you can also, if you have the MILB inside the park app, you would have just gotten the push alert that says McDonald's K guy.
This one is hit into shallow center field. It'll fall in front of Kyle Johnson for a base hit for Garcia. And Hansen, a couple steps towards third, but wisely retreats back to second. And now the West is in business for Michael Taylor. It's a couple of curve players on the base paths. Taylor has been on twice already, walked in the first, but was caught stealing as they picked him off, rather. Swihart threw behind him at first, and he singled and stole a base in the third. Sampson has enough speed to break the tie on a single. First one to Taylor, misses low for a ball. Righty-righty matchup against Antolin. Bullpen is quiet here for the East. 1-0 pitch is hit on the ground to first. Vargas is up with it and flips it to Antolin. They will get one out, but the runners move up 90 feet. As Vargas was just able to stick with the play long enough to get the put out 3-1 at first base. There's two away, and it's now up to Francisco Lindor to unbreak this tie here in the west half of the fifth inning. So Lindor will hit from the left side. He's 0 for 2, bounced out to second base in the first, struck out swinging in the third. Just glad that Lindor was healthy enough to participate in both the XM Futures game and the All-Star game here. As this pitch in there for a called strike, had a ground ball, take an odd bounce and jump up and catch him, and he was out for a few games. So the Rubber Ducks missed him in the lineup. 0-1 pitch from Antolin. Missed outside, and it goes to 1-1. West being out hit 6-4, but a chance to break the 1-1 tie in the run column here in the home half of the fifth. Antolin's pitch home is swung on and missed. Big cut that time from Lindor. Antolin took a little off, had him way out front. Antolin set from the belt. 1-2 is swung and fouled back. Going to get up off the front of the suite level. Section 304, and a couple of lucky fans are going to take a souvenir home. It's another good at-bat by Lindor. 1-2 pitch again from Antolin, outside, and it goes to 2-2. Swihart bluffed a throw back to second behind Garcia. No one covering, though. As the middle infielders, Gibson and Coyle, both teammates of Swihart's, doing a little chatting after that bluff. 2-2. Just missed the outside corner, and the count runs full. Good-looking pitch at 92 miles an hour. Just couldn't catch the black. Lindor will see his 7th pitch. Inside as he backs out of the way, and he will walk to load the bases. And Stephen Moya will be the man with a chance to break the tie. It's action starting now in the bullpen for the East. So get someone up behind Antolin. Looks like it might be his teammate Randy Boone getting loose. Swihart heads out to the mound. Talk things over. Looks like he's also going to get a visit from the pitching coach, Tommy Phelps, pitching coach for the Trenton Thunder. It's the Thunder's staff in town this weekend since they won the Eastern Division and went on to win the Eastern League last year. Phelps heads back to the dugout, and we'll get to see the Antolin-Moya matchup. Moya's 0 for 2, struck out swinging in the first and swinging in the fourth. But he saw his fair share of lefties. Now he has the righty Antolin on the mound. First pitch outside for a ball, 89 miles an hour. And it's 1-0 here on Moya. Definitely one of the guys you want in this spot. 75 RBIs for the Erie Seawolves in the regular season is the 1-0. In there for a called strike, 93. Antolin really reached back a little bit extra there. Moya taps the plate. 2 check swings, and he waits the 1-1 offering. Big cut and a miss at the fastball. It's 1-2. Bases are full for the West. Alan Hansen, the runner at third. Willie Garcia is at second. Francisco Lindor, the Akron Rubber Ducks, over at first base. All out to healthy leads as Moya awaits the 1-2. Antolin delivers it, and this one is driven deep out to right field, and that is a no-doubt home run, putting some of the riders of the Skyliner in right field in danger, and it's a grand slam for Stephen Moya, a 5-1 lead now for the West over the East, and that could be a backbreaker here in the All-Star game.
No-doubter off the bat of Stephen Moya, just barreled it out to deep right. One of those sounds that just sounds beautiful right off the bat. Crushed it over towards the Skyliner, and all the fans coming down from the Skyliner who were riding the coaster out there might have had a little extra souvenir, a little extra thrill, if you will.
And a 5-1 lead now for the West, as it was a 1-1 game. Both those runs came in the third, but a 4 spot put up by Stephen Moya on that grand slam. And now we're going to have a pitching change here. We'll step aside, come back, tell you about the new right-hander Randy Boone of the Fisher Cats when we come back here on the Altoona Curve Radio Network. 5-1 of the West in front after the grand slam by Stephen Moya, one of the leaders in the league in home runs and RBIs, is now tied for the lead in this game with 1 home run. 4 driven in, and we will see a new pitcher, the right-hander Randy Boone. Austin, Texas native, 6 foot 200 pounder, also a member of the New Hampshire Fisher Cats. He is 1-3 with a 2.41 ERA in 29 appearances during the regular season. He was a 7th-round pick of the Blue Jays back in 2007 out of the University of Texas. He's been in the Eastern League for several years, getting the All-Star nod this season. He's really putting together a good campaign. Right-hander will be greeted by Christian Walker of the Bowie Bay Sox. The rest of the fielders remaining the same here for the Eastern Division. First one for Boone hit sharply over to Vargas, and a good pick at first base, and that will retire the West. But they do get a pair of hits, a pair of walks, push 4 runs across, and it's a 5-1 lead for the Western Division here in the Eastern League All-Star Game on the Curve Radio Network. We see a reliever from the Bowie Bay Sox, and it looks like Gary Sanchez will get us started with Mike Baggerman at the plate.
Mike Baggerman at the plate.
Maybe you were going in.
Well, with the way that all the substitutions are in this game, you never know. Oliver Drake in the game for the Bowie Bay Sox. Drake this season 2-1 with a 2.45 ERA for the Baltimore Orioles AA affiliate. First pitch from Sanchez gets popped back our way. It's a no ball, 1 strike count. Sanchez,
A couple of defensive changes as well, as Drew Maggi is into the game at second base. Looks like we have a new first baseman as well, and a member of the Bay Sox over at third.
Pitch here to Sanchez, misses downstairs for a ball. It goes even at 1 ball and 1 strike. Well, Christian Walker from the Bowie Bay Sox was starting off this game, and so we look over.
Changes for the West.
It looks like it's Gharib Rosa.
Goes in to play second base.
So Maggi's at second.
Jones stays in to play first base. Batting.
Jones will stay in, play first, and he'll be batting fourth. Cabrera's in to catch.
Rosa comes into third, batting 8.
Rosa's at third. Keys is in left.
Batting 9.
As we get all caught up, the 1-2 pitch to Sanchez is swung over top of and missed. And that is the first out in the top half of the 6th inning. 5-1 lead for the Western Division All-Stars. Now, Peter O'Brien will come on into the game. So we'll go through all those again. Drew Maggi has replaced the second baseman Francisco Lindor, and Maggi will bat second. Corey Jones remained in the game as the first baseman. Here's a first pitch home to Peter O'Brien. Misses downstairs for a ball. It's 1-0. Ramon Cabrera, the former Altoona Curve, replaces the current Altoona Curve, Elias Diaz, in the catching spot, and Cabrera will bat sixth. Here's a called strike against O'Brien. It's now at 1 ball and 1 strike. Gharib Rosa is over at third. Rosa will be batting 8th. Kevin Keys has replaced left fielder Willie Garcia as the 1-1 pitch to O'Brien. This is too far inside. It's now a 2 ball and 1 strike count. And check that. It's actually Corey Jones. Peter O'Brien at the plate. Here's a broken bat over towards Hansen at short. A little soft pop out to the shortstop. And there's quickly 2 outs in the inning. Oliver Drake, of course, has replaced Ryan Beckman, who is currently in line to get the win in this game. So yeah, that's all of the substitutions for you. As it is the case in All-Star game, you're going to see a lot of pitching changes early, and then about this time or so, that's when all the defensive substitutions. So we'll try to get you caught up as fast as we can as Kenny Vargas comes up to the plate, the first baseman for the New Britain Rockcats today is 0 for 2. Struck out, and he also popped out. A lot of comparisons between Vargas and Big Papi, David Ortiz. Similar stance. In fact, there's so many similarities between the two. First pitch misses outside. It's 1 ball, no strikes. Papi, of course, is a lefty. And basically, when you look at the way Vargas models his game, you'd think that it was the same guy out there. Vargas is also a big guy. 6'5", 269 pounds. A native of Canovanas in Puerto Rico. 1 ball, 1 strike. The pitch from Drake. Lined up the third base side. Fan with the glove tried to make a grab, and looks like they stumbled going over the seating area. Everyone's all right, though.
He missed it on the first time by. He got lucky. It bounced off the wall behind him, and he got it. Second opportunity. Doesn't always happen.
1-2 in there for a called strike 3. So Oliver Drake comes into the game, strikes out the first guy.
It's easier to tell these road jerseys. There's different colors. As the home, they're all wearing white. It's tough to pick out who's where.
Well, Cabrera will come up to the plate now, former Altoona Curve. He was traded over to the Detroit Tigers organization back in 2012 in exchange for Andy Oliver, who's currently a closer up with AAA Indianapolis. He's been posting some stellar numbers up in the International League, who, oh, by the way, they're doing their All-Star game today as well.
They're in Durham, if I'm not mistaken.
Their old stomping grounds there, Nate. First pitch is a called strike on the outer half. It's a no ball, 1 strike count. Cabrera putting together a fine season. He was also a former All-Star prior to this, as the 0-1 pitch is lined over towards third, but a nice diving stop by Burgundy. And there are quickly 2 outs in the frame.
Say the ball finds you when you come in defensively right there, almost out of self-defense, going down, just threw his glove up there, and Burgundy's able to make a really nice play over at third.
Now it's Curve PA's own Alan Hansen who will come back up to the plate. Now Gary Sanchez will walk out to the mound to try to get on the same page as Boone. I imagine these guys have not caught each other very much throughout their entire careers. When you look back at just how it all works, I mean, really the first time that these guys ever had a chance to work with each other. And actually out here comes Tony Franklin, the manager for the Eastern Division, and also Trenton Thunder. It looks like Randy Boone's day is coming to an end. He faces 3 batters. He came in after Stephen Moya blasted a grand slam over the right field wall. So we have a new pitcher coming into the ball game after throwing a perfect inning. It'll be a member from the Trenton Thunder. A southpaw coming into the game. We'll give you the full scoop on him after we take a pitching timeout. It's 5-1 Western Division All-Stars leading the East on the Altoona Curve Baseball Network. Tyler Webb has entered the game for the Eastern Division All-Stars, a member of the Trenton Thunder, a native of Massachusetts in Virginia. 10th round draft pick by the Bombers back in 2013 last season. He's 23 years old. He will, in fact, be turning 21 in just 4 days. He's a southpaw, 6'6", 225 pounds, and he's been able to rack up the strikeouts this season. 51 over 35 2/3. However, he's 1-6 with a 4.04 ERA in 23 games, 7 for 10 in save opportunities. But with the East down 5-1, of course, not a situation at this moment in time. 16 runs on 35 hits, and he's walked 14 batters. He'll go up against Curve PA's own Alan Hansen, who will bat from the right side for the first time in this ball game today. Hansen has scored twice as he punches one coming back our way. Some fans, do they have the lucky grab? Nope. One of them slaps his hands as he turns back. We've seen a pretty rowdy crowd here. When fans try to get the foul balls and they don't catch it, the Boo Birds will come on out. 0-1 to Hansen. Another foul back against the screen. This time nobody has a chance to get it. It's 0-2.
And the man on the mound, Webb, appears to be on the fast track for the New York Yankees, as he was selected in last year's draft, a 10th round pick. He's already made it up here to Double-A.
Hard-throwing lefty fires a fastball that Hansen can't catch up to, and that'll end the inning. Strikeout, line out, new pitcher came into the game, and then another strikeout, and we headed to the top of the seventh. It's a 5-1 lead for the Western Division All-Stars. Nate Bowen will be back to bring you the seventh and the eighth when we return on the Altoona Curve Baseball Network. Another new pitcher entering the ball game in the top of the seventh. It's a 5-1 lead for the Western Division All-Stars. Right-hander Jose Valdez from the Erie Seawolves, non-drafted free agent back in 2009. He's 24 years old, 6'1", 201 pounds, 1-2 with a 4.12 ERA and 32 games out of the pen. One of the toughest relievers in the league. He's 12 for 15 in save opportunities, 44 strikeouts over 39 and a third innings. He's given up 19 runs, 18 of them earned, 23 walks, and again, those 44 strikeouts. Valdez, again, just 24 years old, a native of Don Gregorio de Niazo in the Dominican Republic. 5-1 lead for the Western Division All-Stars. Stephen Moya's grand slam, the difference maker in this one. And here we go, top of the seventh inning. Take you through this inning and more. Here's Nate.
Ronaldo Rodriguez will lead things off as he gets ready to come to the plate. He is 1 for 2. Tony Thomas will follow him. And Brian Burgundy, if all the substitutions were straight up last half inning, would hit third. Valdez first pitch in there for a called strike, 82 miles an hour. Rodriguez had the first hit of the All-Star game back in the second inning. He's also flied out to left field. Awaits pitch 2 from Valdez. Outside for a ball. Fastball clocked at 94. As the big right-hander can really bring it. See what he brings. 1-1, 5-1 lead for the West. Top of the seventh. Pitch is popped up. Shallow center. Maggi is out from second base. Moya calls him off from right field. And it makes the catch for the first out.
Center fielder, number 2, Tony Thomas.
Now Tony Thomas, his first plate appearance, as he replaces Kyle Johnson, who was 2 for 2 with a pair of singles. See what Thomas can do. Another member of the New Britain Rockcats. So we told you about that All-Star game going on at the AAA level as well. International League, a 7-1 lead over the Pacific Coast League through 6 innings. First one to Tony Thomas, misses for a ball. So we check over the stats and keep you up to date on what any of the Indians do in that game. This one's in there for a called strike, and it's now even up 1-1 on Tony Thomas. As Casey Sadler threw a scoreless inning. Pitched as a member of the Curve last year, starting this year for Indianapolis, as this is in there for a called strike. Came on in relief in that game. As he pitched the 5th inning for the International League. 1-2 to Tony Thomas. This one's bounced foul up the third base side. Gets down near the U.S. Foods Picnic Pavilion. They'll do it again, 1-2. Thomas, 246, 5 homers, 28 driven in. On base up there over 300. For the Rockcats during the regular season. Hits from the right side against the righty Valdez. Infield plays him pretty much straight up. West in front of the East, 5-1. Top half of the seventh. First pitch upstairs. It's Cabrera, a familiar face, behind the plate for Valdez. So both managers seem to be putting the pitchers with their familiar catcher from their home team as this bounces in the dirt, and it's 3-2. So we saw Robbie Scott with Swihart for the East. Webb now into the game with Gary Sanchez, both members of the Trenton Thunder. We saw Diaz catch Ryan Beckman and helped him get out of a jam. He is in line for the victory if the West can hold on. Payoff pitch, hit in the air, fairly deep, right center field. Back on it is Taylor. He circles over underneath it and makes the catch in front of Moya. 3 or 4 steps in front of the warning track in a deep right center. And that is out number 2.
Number 7, Brian Burgundy.
As Burgundy sees the plate for the first time. He replaced Carlos Alonso, whose night ended 1 for 2 with a stolen base. Not something you typically see from the Reading prospect. Burgundy, a guy we saw come through with Binghamton already a couple times in the first half here in Curve, PA. Awaits the first one. Misses low for a ball. He hits from the left side against the righty Valdez. Brings in a .257 average, 15 homers, 53 knocked in on base, and an even .350. This one's fouled back, coming in relatively hot, a little bit down to our right. Luckily, it hit a railing before it got to the fans in the grandstand level. The count's even up. 1-1 on the third baseman here from the east. Here's the pitch. Ripped foul again right into the screen is Burgundy. It's been right on everything he's seen so far from Valdez. Brian, a switch hitter. Signed as a minor league free agent in January of this year by the Mets. Originally from Lawton, Oklahoma. Takes the 1-2 pitch, low for a ball, even up at 2-2. As Valdez tries to put up another 0 here for the West. Pitch in, misses for a ball. It was inside, full count. Now to Burgundy. East have 6 hits. The lone run came on the solo homer by Derrick Gibson of the Portland Sea Dogs all the way back in the 3rd inning. West is in front of 5-1. As the payoff pitch is fouled back again, this time up the third base side, and a barehanded catch by a fan 3 rows up in the grandstand level. And we'll do it again, 3-2. The West rather, tied the game home half of the 3rd, and then Stephen Moya broke the game open with a grand slam in the bottom of the 5th. That's where we sit 5-1 as Burgundy swings and misses, and he's down on strikes. And it's a 1-2-3 inning for the Erie Seawolves. Jose Valdez, as we've hit the stretch, the West is in front. 5-1 back to the home half of the 7th inning. Coming up next here on the Curve Radio Network.
Game fireworks again. All gates open up during this upcoming homestand at 5 o'clock.
First pitch is a called strike from Webb to Gharib Rosa. Rosa, one of those guys who will be here with us throughout the next homestand, a member of the Bowie Bay Sox. His first at bat as he rips this one foul from out into the grandstand level off to our right. And it's 0-2 on Rosa. 274 average, 7 homers, 48 driven in. As this pitch upstairs, Sanchez corrals it and gets it back to his battery mate Tyler Webb, and it's 1-2. Left-hander from the first base side of the rubber. And this one's ripped foul into the screen over near Kevin Keys in the on-deck circle. As it is into the West dugout. Nice crowd of over 6,000 on hand at People's Natural Gas Field as a swing and a miss by Rosa. They'll call it a foul tip, actually, into the glove of Sanchez, who corralled it regardless. Down on strikes. 2 batters faced, 2 strikeouts for Webb. And it looks like Tony Franklin is only going to allow his lefty to go 2/3 of an inning with a pair of strikeouts as Webb high-fives his battery mate Sanchez. And we're going to get a new pitcher to tell you about. It's a right-hander. Appears to be a member of the Binghamton Mets coming in. It's a 5-1 lead for the West, and they're at the plate when we come back in the home half of the 7th inning. Here on the Altoona Curve Radio Network. 5-1, the Western All-Stars in front of the Eastern All-Stars. Kevin Keys is the batter. The new pitcher from the Binghamton Mets is Cody Satterwhite in for the East. As this one's in there for a called strike. 3-1 record, 1.49 ERA, 33 games. as he's worked 42 in the third innings, 46 strikeouts for the right-hander. As the pitch, as Keys didn't want to swing on the inside pitch, but he did go around, and it's 0-2. Satterwhite, first man he's faced, will be charged with getting through the bottom of the seventh, and there's a called strike, and the Eastern squad's pitchers have definitely settled in after giving up that grand slam in the fifth inning. Lineup card turns over. Michael Taylor to the plate. Will be his fourth at-bat of the night. He's 1 for 2 with a walk. Also has a stolen base.
Center fielder Michael Taylor.
A member of the Harrisburg Senators stands in. Pitch here is inside for a ball. And it's 1-0 on Taylor. This action continuing in the West bullpen. It's each pitcher gone an inning so far. Here's a called strike.
And it's Harrisburg's Colin Bates warming up in the bullpen down the right field line.
Pitch into Taylor, hit on the ground to short. Gibson bobbles it, able to stay with it initially, and then loses it at the last second, trying to transfer it. And it's going to be an E6 that allows Taylor to reach base. It's the third time the leadoff man's been on tonight. And we now see Drew Maggi at the plate. Maggi entered the game in place of Francisco Lindor in the field in the top half of the sixth. The first time we've seen him at the plate. Usually hits, if not leadoff, in the number 2 spot for the Altoona Curve. And he's in the 2 spot in the lineup here. 284, 3 homers, 18 driven in. Pitch is in there for a called strike. On base percentage sky high for Maggi this year, 388. As he's worked 38 walks. Taylor, great speed over at first, but just a couple steps off the bag, and with a 4-run lead, don't think he's going anywhere. And he's not, as the second pitch misses low for a ball. 1-1 the count. 2 outs here in the home half of the seventh. 5-1 the West in front of the East. Ever dangerous Stephen Moya awaits on deck for the West. Pitch gets off the glove of Sanchez. He's able to corral it and keep Taylor at first. Was a called strike, and it goes to 1-2. Maybe a product of a couple guys who don't work together. First time we've really seen a ball get by the catcher, though, all night. Pretty clean game through the first 6.5 innings.
Yeah, and it was a ball that got away from him on a called strike. So you know there's 2 guys that don't have a lot of chemistry together, and even though maybe in the future, should these guys make it to the bigs, they'll be crosstown rivals.
1-2 pitch is coming to Maggi. This one bounces in the dirt. Sanchez keeps this right in front of him. And it goes to 2-2 on Drew Maggi. Runner at first is Taylor. 27 steals on the season for Michael Taylor. He's been caught just 7 times. Stole the base earlier tonight. Pickoff move, and a back end standing is Taylor. He was also picked off by the catcher, Blake Swihart. The catcher at that time back in the first inning. Sanchez now behind the plate. This pitch is bounced foul up the first base side. Gets down near the U.S. Foods Picnic Pavilion. Brian Burgundy will have to go retrieve it. Flip it to a lucky youngster in the first row of the Toyota Diamond Club. Count remains 2-2. Satterwhite on the mound. 2-2 pitch. Taylor is going, and it's fouled back to the screen. They'll do it again, 2-2. Maggi being one of the guys we have a chance to watch just about every day here in Curve, PA. You'd expect nothing less from him than a good professional at-bat, working the count, fouling off those tough pitches. He's doing it again here. Battling Satterwhite with 2 outs in the home half of the 7th. And a 5-1 lead for the West. This pitch is popped foul down the first base side. It'll get into the Ollie's cheap seats, actually over them and out near the kid zone.
Yeah, you talk about how Maggi has that talent at the dish. It's just a matter of him and his bat speed. He's got very good bat speed, got good hand-eye coordination, can constantly make contact with it, and that's a reason why he's been one of the toughest guys in the entire Eastern League to strike out.
The pickoff throw, this time a little closer as Taylor dives back in, gets the right hand in under the tag of Vargas. Remains 2-2 with 2 away. The West in front by 4 despite being out hit 6-5. Satterwhite's pitch tapped foul again over near the dugout of the East.
So far during this regular season, Nate, Maggi's just struck out 37 times. And you want to take a look at how many at-bats? 222. That's about 1 every 6.5, 1 every 7 at-bats. It's pretty good.
So the walks, right there, I believe he's walked 1 more time than he's struck out. This pitch is swung and missed as he goes down on strikes there, as maybe you jinxed him there, Mike, and 3 strikeouts in the inning. 1 man reaches base via an error, and it's a 5-1 lead for the West as we head to the top of the 8th inning here on the Curve Radio Network. 5-1 lead for the Western Division All-Stars over the East. And we've got a new pitcher, Colin Bates, coming out of the mound for the Harrisburg Senators, as he will see 9-1-2 into the lineup. Derrick Gibson of the Portland Sea Dogs will get things going here in the visiting half of inning number 8. As Bates takes over, selected by the Nationals, 23rd round of the 2010 draft out of North Carolina. Right-hander, 6'1", 175-pounder. 1-1 this year with Harrisburg, a 3.73 ERA in 26 games. He's made just 1 start, has 1 save. Heavy innings workload, though, through the first part of the year, 62 2/3 innings. As this pitch misses for a ball. And it's 1-0 here on Gibson. Next pitch misses upstairs for a ball, and it goes to 2-0. As Gibson will be followed by John Birdie, as the lineup card will flip over. Here's a called strike, and it's 2-1 on the Sea Dogs shortstop. High set, and here comes the pitch from Bates. Popped up down the right field line. Long run for Moya out there. He won't get there as it lands into the Ollie's cheap seats. And the count evens up at 2-2. Couple of check swings here from Gibson. So he awaits the next pitch from Bates. For Colin, it's his first year at the AA level. Spent 2013 with Potomac. 2012 with Hagerstown as Gibson fouls this one back. 2011 he split time between the Auburn Doubledays and Hagerstown. Was a starter, kind of a piggyback guy early on in his career, now working primarily, almost exclusively out of the bullpen. 2-2 pitch. Misses for a ball, and it's 3-2. Bates gets ready here to fire in a pitch to Gibson. Hit high in the air and deep to center field. Did he get another one as Taylor is back, and he can't make the catch as he crashes into the wall. And Gibson's around second. He's digging for third, and it is a leadoff triple for Derrick Gibson as he now has homered and tripled into this one. And now a runner at third base here for the East as they trail it 5-1. And Mike Baggerman We'll flip over the lineup here as John Birdie is coming to the plate.
Yep, John Birdie, the number one hitter in the order now after Sean Coyle in the early stages of this game. Derrick Gibson, a good blast down the right field line to possibly almost got his second home run of this ball game. He had a solo blast to left field earlier on in this game, but now Birdie will get his first ups in this ball game today. His first pitch is upcoming from Bates in, and it misses inside. It's a 1 ball and no strike count. Birdie, who this season played the year and batted .257 with 5 home runs and 33 driven in. Here's the next pitch upcoming from Bates, the 1-0. Here's a little tap or foul up the third base side. It's a 1 ball and 1 strike count. Birdie, member of the New Hampshire Fisher Cats, an 18th round draft pick back in 2011, just 24 years old, standing at 5'10", 187 pounds. It's a righty-on-righty matchup. New Hampshire versus Harrisburg. The 1-1. Check swing. Did he go? It doesn't matter. It's a called strike according to the home plate umpire, Billy Cunha, anyway. And the count is now 1-2. 5-1 our score in the top of the 8th inning. Mike Bagman alongside Nate Bowen bringing you the call for this one. Birdie came into this game after Sean Coyle was taken out. Coyle finishes the Eastern League All-Star game 1 for 3. 1-2 pitch, swing and a foul tip, but it's not held on by the catcher Cabrera. Count runs even at 2-2. Birdie was in his first season with the New Hampshire Fisher Cats. Played in 30 games during May and hit .264 during that month, but his big thing this year is his ability to hit with a little bit more consistent contact than what he had been doing in his career. Here's the 1 ball and 2 strike pitch, and it is downstairs. Bates on the bump, gets the sign from the catcher Diaz, comes to a set. And now the 2-2, still nobody out, runner at third. Here's a tapping ball up the first base side. It'll bring home a run. Bates will just underhand flip it over to first. And the ground out goes 1-3. Coming home is Gibson. He scores his second run of the ball game. And it's now a 5-2 ball game. So we'd like to welcome in a very special guest, former major leaguer, member with the Boston Braves, Del Crandall. Thank you very much for joining us, sir. How are you enjoying your time at the ballpark here? You've been here for the past couple of days. How are you enjoying your stay here in Curve, PA so far?
Well, if it wasn't for the company that I keep, it would be okay. I really enjoy coming here. I threw out the first pitch when it first opened here.
Okay, back in 1999?
Back in 1999. So I've been friends with Bob Loznak a long time.
A 1 pitch to Albert Cartwright is a called strike. It's now at 0-2. And boy, I mean, so many fun things going on here at the ballpark these past couple days. We had the Ghost Man games and hitting challenge. We, of course, Wounded Warrior amputee softball game yesterday. 0-2 pitch misses down and inside. I mean, have you got a chance to really take everything in? I know it's probably been a few busy few days for you.
No, I'm too old to be busy, to be really busy. Everything has gone very well.
Here's the pitch. It's a called strike 3 on the inner half, and Cartwright goes down on strikes. There's now 2 away. We're currently joined with Del Crandall, former Milwaukee Brave, Boston Brave. You also spent some time with the Pittsburgh Pirates. You spent a season out there. How do you reflect back on your playing days? You played for several years.
You have to live with what you were,
right?
And you can't be better than your statistics say you were. But I enjoyed every minute of it.
Yeah, an 8-time All-Star. I mean, you can't complain with those kind of days. Do you remember really any of the guys that you played with? Any great memories from back in the playing days? You played back in started your career in the major leagues at least in 1949, went all the way to 1966. What an incredible career.
It just meant I grew old in the game of baseball. No, every minute that I spent there, and every minute in the game, I broadcast a little bit, and
1-1 pitch is lifted, foul up the first base side. It goes over towards the grandstand seating. It's 1-2.
And I've done quite a few things in the game. Most recently, before I retired, I was in the game for about 53 years, and I was an instructor in the Dodger organization for a long time.
1-2 pitch popped up again, same spot earlier.
And I enjoyed all those years in the minor leagues as well. I was a baseball lifer, I think is the term, and so it was a good career. I don't apologize for my stats, but it was a good career.
Hey, an 8-time All-Star. You can't apologize for that. If anything,
yeah,
the complete opposite.
Yeah, I was able to to win a World Series. Our team won a World Series while we were in Milwaukee, and we won another National League pennant and played the Yankees in both years. We won one and lost one. So it was just a great life.
2 balls, 2 strikes, 2 outs. The pitch swung on and missed, and Sanchez goes down on strikes. That'll end the inning. We're currently joined with Del Crandall. Feel like sticking around for a little bit extra?
Sure.
All right, we'll hang around for the bottom half of the 8th inning, as it's 3, 4, and 5 due up for the Western Division All-Stars. However, you mentioned that you had worked previously after your playing days as an instructor within the Los Angeles Dodgers organization. Do you remember seeing any guys that years later went on to do great things during your time in LA?
Oh yes. We had exceptional ball players that came through Milwaukee.
There's a called strike to Moya. It's now 1-1.
Albuquerque, I'm sorry. But we had an awful lot of players come through. Valenzuela was one of them. Gharib was another one. Bob Welch was another one.
There's a ground ball hit towards second. Birdie gets in the hole, and he'll field it, throw over to first, and the ground out goes 4-3.
And in those days, the Dodgers had an awful lot of really good ball players at the AAA level. Tommy Lasorda, when I got into the organizations, Tommy Lasorda was the AAA manager, and I was the AA manager. And when Tommy Lasorda went to coach the Dodgers.
First pitch into Corey Jones is a called strike. Jones making his first plate appearance today.
They really ran some outstanding talent through Albuquerque, and I was there for 7.5 years, and it was really a good job. It was really a great job.
No balls and 2 strikes now to Jones as he takes another strike. Yeah, I don't know if you had been still following along. You mentioned you're a baseball lifer, so I imagine you still are catching up with a lot of things. Here's a ball hit, foul up the first base side. But boy, Clayton Kershaw with the Dodgers right now, he had that unbelievable scoreless inning streak that he had. I mean, he's really become one of the best pitchers in baseball. Have you had a chance to ever meet him? Have you ever had a chance to see any of the things that he's done with the Dodgers?
He was a little later. For me, but I did have Oral Hershiser.
Okay.
Who he's. Go ahead.
Here's a fly ball hit out to center field, tracked down by Tony Thomas for out number 2 in the inning.
So he was on the trail of breaking the scoreless inning record, but he finally gave up a home run. I guess he did in the first inning with a home run. So.
It's funny that you mentioned Oral Hershiser because he's one of the guys you saw coming through. The manager from the Altoona Curve, Carlos Garcia, I'm not sure if you knew this or not, his first career home run was an inside the park home run against Oral Hershiser. So, that's, the more you know.
That's exactly right. He was a good pitcher. He hit one off of him. He was pretty good inside the Parker. Even better, because those don't come along very often.
We're currently joined with Del Crandall, former big leaguer from the 50s and 60s with the Milwaukee Braves, San Francisco Giants, Buccos, Indians, as we have a new pitcher coming into this game. Let's step out for 60 seconds. We'll give you the details on the new pitcher coming into this ball game, and then we'll finish our conversation with Del Crandall. Stick around. 5-2 our score in the bottom of the 8th on the Altoona Curve Baseball Network. 5-2 our score in the bottom of the 8th inning. Mike Baggerman joined alongside a very special guest, and Del Crandall, former major leaguer from the 50s and 60s, as Colton Murray from the Reading Titans has taken the mound. It is the last available pitcher for the Eastern Division All-Stars. Again, the score 5-2 with 2 outs in the bottom of the 8th inning. We were talking as we were just in our last break, Del, about the 1988 World Series when Derrick Gibson hit that home run. You were still part of the Dodgers organization during that time, and boy, I mean, that still resonates, almost 20 years, actually over 20 years later, as just one of the greatest moments in baseball history. When it first happened, what were your memories of it?
Well, I was watching it on television.
Okay.
I was back home in California.
First pitch is a strike to Mario Listone, 0-1.
Watching it on television, and they had no right to win against the A's.
Right.
They had no right to win the World Series, but that just kind of sparked them, and he hit it off of the good relief pitcher.
Yep, Raleigh Fingers, right?
No.
Oh boy. My trivia is this is a giant foul on my part then. Boy.
Well, I'm searching for the name. Dennis Eckersley.
There we go.
Dennis Eckersley.
0-2 pitch misses outside. It's now 1-2.
And that just ignited the whole city.
Yeah, I remember when it first happened. They said, I wasn't alive when it happened, so this is all just stories that have been constantly told through me. Gibson had 2 bad knees as a 1-2 pitch is fouled off. 2 bad knees going up against one of the best pitchers of his generation. It's just one of those incredible moments. You were part of the organization when it all happened.
Well, he credits a scout with telling him exactly what Dennis Eckersley was going to do with the 3-2 pitch. He said he's going to throw that little slider, try to pick up the outside part of the plate, and he was leaning right into it and just happened to hit it well. And it was an incredible scene. Tommy Lasorda and Mickey Hatcher, who played for me, and Ron Say played for me, and it was such a tremendous thing because they were not picked to do anything.
1-2 pitch misses inside. It's a 2-ball, 2-strike count now against Mario Listone. He's 0 for 3 so far today. Del, when you first were signed by Boston, by the Braves back in the late 40s, you didn't really take the typical minor league route that is done nowadays, where guys, year after year, they go through the system. For you made it up to the show when you were 19 years old. How much have you seen the change game since your days versus now?
It's hard to say. I think I was in the right place at the right time. I know I called my mother when they bought my contract, and I said, I'm going to Boston. She said, what for? Of course, my dad got the significance of it.
3-ball, 2-strike pitch by Listone is grounded in front of home plate. Throw over to first is in time. That'll end a 3-up, 3-down inning. Ken Kasperick has come into the top of the 9th inning to shut the door to give the Western Division All-Stars the win. Hopefully, we'll see how things go. Kasperick this season with the Altoona curve has been absolutely phenomenal. The Submariners 1-0 and 0.96 ERA in 13 games. 4 for 4 in save opportunities, 18 2/3 innings pitched. He's given up just 2 earned runs all season, folks. 15 hits, 19 strikeouts to just 3 walks. He was originally a member of the Seattle Mariners organization, later played a little bit of time in independent ball, signed by the Buccos, and this season has been his best year yet of his professional career. Named to the All-Star team for his 3rd time in his career. First pitch from Peter O'Brien is laced over into the dugout. It's a 1-ball, 1-strike count now after he took a first pitch that missed outside. Last season, the Western Division won 5-0 over the East. Year prior to that, it was the East 5 and the West 4. That game was at First Energy Stadium in Reading. Peter O'Brien takes another pitch for a strike. It's 1-2 now. O'Brien, the Trenton Thunder DH/first baseman / outfielder, is 0 for 3 today. He swings over top of a pitch from Kasperick, and that is another strikeout for the West pitching in this ball game.
First baseman,
11th in this game, 5-2 the score. Kasperick has been a perfect 4 for 4 in save opportunities this season. Looks to shut the door here in the Eastern League All-Star Clash. Now remember, these stats will not count towards the regular season. But It's a fun game to be able to celebrate future big leaguers, possibly even this guy coming up to the plate right now. And Kenny Vargas swings over top of a first pitch. 0-1. Vargas today is 0 for 3. Hits are 7-5 in favor of the East. However, it's been all about Steven Moya, who has the big hit in this ball game. A grand slam back in the 5th that gave the West a 5-1 lead. East got one back in the top half of the 8th as Kasperic tosses another strike. He is just dealing. It's a no ball and 2 strike count now to Vargas. Pair of strikeouts already in this ball game for Kenny. Switch hitter bats from the left side against the Submariner. Kasperic's pitch, swing and a miss, got him. Back-to-back strikeouts. That's 4 straight Ks by West pitching. Also featuring Colin Bates back in the 8th, who struck out the last 2 guys that he faced. Kasperic is just in absolute control. Kasperic was originally drafted by the Cubs in 2004 and the Nationals in 2007 before he was ultimately picked up by the Mariners in the 12th round back in 2008 from the University of Texas at Austin. He'll square off against Reynaldo Rodriguez, and watch as the pitch miss outside is the New Britain Rockcat. Kasperic has been just unhittable this season. Signed by the Buccos out of Independent Ball. In his first season with the Curve, had a 5.05 ERA in 22 games. 6 of those were starts. Here's a strike. It's 1-1. Kasperic comes to a set, and the pitch. 77 miles an hour, and Rodriguez ducked out of it, and it was almost a strike. It's now 2-1. Last season, he spent the entire year with Altoona, went 4-2 with a 3.26 ERA. Here's a pitch that misses well inside. It's a 3-ball, 1 strike count to Rodriguez. After the game tonight, some post-game fireworks for all the fans, all 6,055 of them at the ballpark. A great crowd for the Eastern League All-Star Clash. 5-2 lead for the West. Kasperic on the first base side of the rubber against the right-handed hitter. This ball is laced out towards left field and playable for Keys. He makes the grab, and the Western Division All-Stars defeat the Eastern Division All-Stars by a final score of 5-2. Winning pitcher in this one is Ryan Beckman. The losing pitcher goes to Dustin Antolin, and Ken Kasperic, the Altoona Curve, picks up the save to help out his Curve comrade in Ryan Beckman. Again, Beckman picks up the win. Final score of this game, once again, 5-2. Your post-game show is coming up next on the Altoona Curve Baseball Network.